G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to Dave Talk Stuff, tabletop role-playing game news. I'm your host, the author, David Applegate, author of the books The Boyhood Guide, Power Games, and Into the Earl's Mound. Now, this channel is sponsored by you, the viewing audience, so I need to take a break for a brief moment to share out the link, and I hope you will also do so too. Just letting everybody know on X, we're live on X, YouTube, and Rumble. So if you could also take a moment to share out the link, that would be great. Help out the channel. It's the only way to beat the algorithms. I'm sure lots of people have told you about them and how little channels do not get shared, and little channels only become big channels when they do get shared and shared often. It's just a sad reality. Oh, sorry, whoops. All right, clicked on the wrong link. Brought up YouTube. I want X. Here we go. We are on X. Okay, share. Share my YouTube. Share my Rumble. And share the X. Shared. Please and thank you. Really appreciate it. And I got a nice diverse cast of tabletop news today. Unlike some people, I actually do know the meaning of the word diversity. And we'll start with my favorite site, the Bundle of Holding. We have first up tabletop readouts. There's a few days to go. These are 4,500 pages of technical readouts and record sheets for Battletech. Starter collection, $19.95. Level up, beat the threshold price of $37.35, and you will also get the bonus collection on top of the starter pack. And what is the starter pack? Well, first off, you get 4 loads of technical readouts. You have the Succession Wars, the most common mechs from the Succession Wars, 3039 technical readouts, as well as 3050 upgrades, 3058 upgrades, and 3075 technical readouts. Clan Invasion. Mechs from the Clan Invasion and Civil War eras, compiled from technical readouts of 3050, 3055, 3058, 3060, and 3067. Jihad, the Jihad era of 3050 with upgrades in 3055, 3058, 3060, 3067, 3075, 3085, and Project Phoenix. The Dark Age. Dark Age has more technical readouts from 75, 85, 145, 150, and irregulars, prototypes, and more. And of course, if you level, and they come with their 4 sets of matching record sheets for the 3025 to 3081 era, although some of the mechs, as previously mentioned, they actually go past that era. But if you bonus level, you get the technical readouts and the record sheets going past that era in full, where you get the technical readouts and specifications from the Republic era, 3080 through to 3150, and the Dark Age 3150 to 3150. and the various supplements, technical readouts, and their 5 matching record sheets. Over 1,000 bundles sold. This $19.95, $250 value. Now, the technical readouts are for Battletech Total War, the 2022 board game with rules from Catalyst, all in PDF form. Starter collection only $7.95, with the bonus upgrades available if you beat the threshold price of $20.50. Sorry, $20.35. Pay the minimum and get Total War, the handbook that gives you all you need to know about battle mechs of the 31st century. 30-foot tall humanoid titans with lasers, autocannons, and dozens of other lethal weapons. Enough firepower to level the entire city block. You're part of an elite force of mech warriors who drive these juggernauts for the power and glory of your faction. At your beck and call are various support vehicles. Those are armored vehicles, power armored infantry, aerospace fighters, and more. Will you become a legend or scrap? Now, the Battle Mech Technical Manual is a Gearhead's book, gives you everything you need to know, including technical readouts and source books on providing in-universe context, as well as making your own cool and unique mechs. However, level up, beat the threshold price, and get 4 more technical manuals on the operations of war. Strategic operations, it's basically advanced aerospace movement. Campaign operations, like everything from battalions to full-on regiments. Battle need armies, and this is basically how to put together an army campaign. Advanced rules gives you exotic rules such as weather and other planetary conditions, as well as battlefield tactics such as artillery and comms and minefields. Advanced units, equipment, rules for construction, advanced support vehicles. Without support vehicles, you are out of luck. This has only got a few days left. Next, we have the Ultraviolet Grasslands campaign. 10 days to go. Tabletop role-playing games of a this is science fantasy, but they call it fantascience, from Luca Reject. One price gets it all. The Ultraviolet Grasslands, or UVG, is $70.95. Get the 2022 handbook, the first edition up 2020 handbook, the original, Synthetic Dream Machine, the Metacritic, Zoo of the Wastelands, Repo Get Ahead, and Let Us In. Exactly what is the handbook? This is the updated version. Half adventure, half exotic trip, a psychedelic heavy metal inspired by Dying Earth genre, Oregon Trail. You set off for the Morbius mind-bending trips, plural, for shifting realities of new wave science fiction. Well, new wave science fiction is another way of saying science fantasy. But for some reason, the word science fantasy seemed to be turning people off. So people are finding new and interesting ways to say science fantasy. It's getting ridiculous because you can't track it all. Just say science fantasy, and if the purists don't like it, well, I'll remind you that Star Wars is science fantasy, magic in space. Now, the first edition 2020 handbook is included, although this is from the original 2019 Kickstarter campaign. The 2022 version is also included. It's a caravan trip through strange new worlds, pretty much like the original Star Trek was meant to be. It was meant to be a caravan from world to world, settlers, etc. But it just lost its way during the original plots, and eventually, as you know, it became more of a geek fest of weird science. And again, Star Trek is bordering on science fantasy. I say bordering because it only brings up fantasy elements a few times, although there's a lot of flights of fancy in some of its scenarios, there's very little magic. But there is magic. People just don't realize it. Spock's powers, for instance. You'd be surprised how much science fiction is really science fantasy. But these rules, the synthetic dream machine is just adding more rules to the system. To basically, it's a sandbox where you get your vast city despoiled by an army, take on the roles of an alien godlike energy, preventing the oblivion of the treasures and so forth. Magitica, it's about rules and spells in the synthetic dream machine role-playing system. So the wasteland is a creature generator. Wastelands are full of unusual life forms and unusual landscapes, and you have to have unusual creatures to match. Get Ahead is traveling, well, it's a RPG module loosely based on the ridiculous 1974 John Borman movie Zorda. Traveling ahead, get ahead. You don't know much about Zorda. It's, again, science fantasy. It was one of the many failed movies starring Sean Connery. Although he did his fantastical best, it's just he didn't understand the script when he accepted. And amazingly, I think a lot of people, because it was too fantastical, a lot of people just normied out. These days, it's a cult classic, and people actually either see it as a fantastical journey exploring the nature of deception and either deception of self or deception of others, where others see it just as a comedy of errors and a ludicrous story. But believe it or not, ludicrous is a real thing. Ludicrous situations happen all the time. It's just, we hope we never get to the point where things get so ludicrous that the elites turn most of the world into a barbaric wasteland so they can rule over it and travel over it, laughing at the fools below. Pretty much like, it's in the genre of, in the vein of Metropolis. It's just so far out there, a lot of normies just can't handle it. They can't handle the wicked and the bizarre, but the reality is the world is a wicked, bizarre place, and most people walk in its shadow with blinders on, looking at their feet. Where people will complain about situations they put themselves in, yet when you offer them an out, they'd rather complain and sabotage their own lives and own ambitions to serve others instead of outing and doing what they really want to do. It's part of the exploration that you have with role-playing games. You explore situations, and Let Us In is another one where the show allows us the exploration of horror. Now, this is 1970s horror, so it's not going to be, it's more of a jump scare thrill than I don't know much more about it, unfortunately, yet. But eventually I'll get around to looking at it. And We have Mazes, a fantasy roleplay from 9th level games. Core rulebook, 12 modules, and follow year one, all for them a single price of $17.95. 17 days to go. Just get one price, gets all the books. Mazes is a fantasy role-playing game where your characters adventure in the dark and troubled world. The world used to be more civilized, more powerful, but that golden age of empire magic has fallen. None still living members remember it. Society has broken apart, and the world is a patchwork of petty kingdoms, trading posts, and blasted ruins. Camelot. But your characters are swords against the darkness, wanderers and vagabonds who make their living raiding dungeons and ruins, fighting for glory, for greed and self, while fighting against the hopeless reign of evil. There's a polymorph system, a character creators select polyhedral die to represent the characters, etc., etc. Always branch out. Always explore. You got monthly modules. You got 12 modules meant to be a month each. 10 to 26 pages, so there's about 20 hours each. Follow year one. Another compiles and indexes all the challenges, so you've got yourself a nice handy little record. So enter the maze. There's a lot of gaming material there. Use it in your own campaigns. Use it as a rainy day weekend or something else. Who knows? It's all up to you. Now, I come across this little announcement and I thought, wow, Twice Dead in Terminus, a Wild West 5e adventure for Dungeons & Dragons from Imp Games. Product yet to be reviewed or related. New re-released. Available now on Drive-Thru RPG. And I think I made a mistake. Did I? Yes, I included. Yes, I didn't forget to put a link in the description. You've been deputized by the heavens and hell to investigate and take down the posse of undead outlaws. The Afterline, a mystical train that takes souls to the Afterline, is dangerous of being destroyed, and only a band of magnificent adventurers could take up arms to save it. Explore the town of Terminus, meet its folk, learn about afterlife and the larger forces of play, ride out the dust. Now, I have been asked whether or not I would review some of these materials. Now, the problem is I can't afford all these materials yet. I need to at least double the amount of patrons I have, at the very least. And I'd probably be only able to do one a month anyway. But I would consider it. But I may have to give something else up. That depends. Depends what's happening. But for now, it's just a possibility. So thank you for asking. But unless, I mean, $20 is $20, and I hate to tell people, but I earn less than minimum wage. Okay, I'm broke. I hate telling people that, because then people look down and you think, oh, you're not good enough. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? If everybody's judging me as not good enough because I'm broke, I'll always be broke. I try my best, and if my best isn't good enough, so be it. But I try my best. Now, Kobold Press has a blog. And their latest blog post is out. Shadowfade Lineage and Heritage. you're interested in the Fae and other tales, and you actually follow Kobold Press, they're very prolific. So and they got a lot of related posts, so a lot of followers already. But I thought, well, this is interesting. And of course, give a guy a break. Snowy's maps. Hi there, Snowy. He's a tabletop mapper. He makes battle maps and official partners with Let's Roll. He's currently running a Patreon. Want to collaborate or chat, or just get a map. But they also have a Kickstarter. Check it out. Tomes of Maps, Forest Battle Map book for your games. Not only can you get the digital maps, you can get Foundry VTT maps, Roll20, and physical maps for use. There's the original sketch layout. There's some free samples. Shows you the map and the mapping process. Nice little video there for you to check out. Some idea of how maps are used. There's quite a few tiers, so let you check it out on your own and make up your own mind of what you can and can't afford and what you will and will not buy. But remember, folks, this is sponsored by you, the viewing audience. So I have my own Patreon, Pewter Fantasy, where I create a homebrew science fiction setting for D6 RPGs, science fantasy, Empire, starting with the Empire of Elves, the core book there, $9.99. I have lots of material, as well as links to my posts, where every month you can get battle maps. I also create artwork, so you get an idea. These are characters based on my writing, and the various articles. I have over 100 articles on basically science, fantasy, technology, magic, creatures, the elves, the dwarves, giants, the Naga, dragons, with way more stuff to come. Working all the time on new material. But I also write books, and I do interviews with creators. Yeah. Get writing tips, tabletop news, artwork. My first, second, third, fourth book, and working on my fifth. This is still being edited, unfortunately, because I need more support. I can't afford an editor right now, so I'm doing what I can when I can, with help from a few friends, to get the material edited. It's just taking time. I appreciate the fact that some people may not want access to the drafts, but that's what you get. You're getting early access to my writing, and eventually you'll actually stay around long enough and they'll give you a copy of my book. So consider joining, please and thank you. Every bit helps. Oh, next interview. I believe I just had an interview a couple of days ago, and my next broke, yes. Some of us are more broke than others. Okay. Let's see. 19th, I believe, is the next interview. So thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Now to support the channel, check out links in the description below. The links are in the link tree in my profile. But however, the link to the material you have to get off YouTube or Rumble. To support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon. As I said, I've got an RPG Patreon and a writing Patreon. Hope to see some of you. Hope to see more of you over there. And of course, I have merch and books. Please and thank you. I shall see you all in the next video.